So we now got another short little video, and in this video we're going to be answering a BTEC question which runs as the following. Set up two virtual machines and assign a Class B static IP address to each using the default subnet mask. Use a software tool to check that the connection is successful. Document the process in any of the following ways: an illustrated guide with screenshots of each stage, or a screen recording of the finished product. Well, here's a screen, and as you can see it's a Windows 7 machine, and up in this corner here we have a thing called Oracle VM VirtualBox, and if I double click on it now, that's the VirtualBox manager. And as you can see, what we've got set up already is one virtual machine. Let's have a quick look at it so that we can see what it does. So there we go, it's starting up, and it's coming up in a scaled mode. There is a Windows 7 CD in there, which is the way I set the original machine up, and setting a machine up from scratch is a bit of a pain and it takes a long time. There is a second way that we're going to explore in a second. So we'll just let this start up. And we'll get rid of these little messages from the virtual machine manager. And it updated the registry there because that's the first time I've had it on since setting up that machine, and now, with a bit of luck, it should actually go into Windows. And it should be a second Windows 7 machine running on the original. So if I do this and this, there is the original Windows 7 machine. And there is a virtual machine which I have called Ian's 7.1. Okay, we're in. So let's start the thing up and you can see what it makes it tick. Excuse me. Now the way I've set this up, it can share the host machine's internet capabilities and network capabilities. So if I go to the Network and Sharing Center here, what we'll see is we've got full internet access on a home network, and that's through the Wi-Fi that this machine is using. The host machine, and you'll see that the host machine has got full internet access. We crank up Internet Explorer, there we are. Okay, so now I'm going to type two random words in here. Now we've got hits on that, so that shows me that this is working. Let's get rid of that. We're going back to the virtual machine. And what I'm going to do with the virtual machine is exactly the same thing, but you'll find that the version of Internet Explorer is quite old. Probably about version 8. Well, that definitely looks like it's working for me. But we'll go to Google and see, just to make sure. And we'll type in 2 more random words. And there we go, we've got images for rainbow haddock. And a few hits, and yeah, that convinces me that internet access is up and running, which is all jolly good. So, back to the virtual box manager, and what we'll do is we'll shut this down. And I was being clever there. I'm trying to do it from the VM manager, which you can do, but it's a lot quicker just to do it from the machine. So, on here we've got the network, and if I look at this network, there it is. You'll see it's attached to NAT, Network Address Translation. And basically what that means is it's taking the oops, let's just get rid of that. It's taking the host network adapter, which is a rail link, and it's using that as its own adapter, even though that's not what it's set for. It's all very, very clever. But we're not going to use it like that. We're going to use it as a private network between 2 machines, and when we do that, it won't have any internet access unless we give it a route that does do that. Now, as I said before, setting up from scratch a new machine is very, very, very painful. It takes a long time. There is another way. Once we've got one machine in there, we can clone a second machine. And to do that, we click on there. Okay, and that gives me a default name of Ian71 clone, but I'm going to change it and call the new machine Ian's72. Cloning has also got its own problems, and when it clones, we'll see what those are. So we're going to do a full clone, and there we go, we get a nice little picture of a sheep. I don't know if you can see that. I like the sense of humour there of the sheep. It is of course referencing Dolly the sheep, and you can see that there will be 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 16, 17, can't quite make its mind up. Usually it takes about 20 minutes to make a clone, which is half the time it takes to make a new machine from scratch from the disk. So I'm going to pause it here and we'll come back to it once the clone has been made. So we've now got this clone up and running, and if we pan the camera around a little bit and zoom in, oops, and look in the top left hand corner, you see there are 2 machines on there now. There's Ian71, which was the original, and Ian72, which is the clone. Okay, so Something very important we've got to point out when you're setting virtual machines is this, and if we come back and have a look, down here we've got the network, and if we open it up, and if I zoom in a little bit, and as you can see, this is a setting for EN72. We've got to make sure we're on an internal network, and we've got to give it a network name, CourseNet. Here, what we're looking for is that the cable is connected with a tick box like that, and we're also looking for this MAC address. Now here the MAC address is 0800 275A 71C2. Write that down, because we're going to check the same on EN71. So we select it, come on, network up again, it's attached to an internal network. The name is CourseNet, just like we want it to be, and on the advanced we can see that the MAC address is 0800 27ED 50FC. Now the reason I'm pointing this out is that if you clone a machine, what you do is you clone everything, including the MAC address. And prior to shooting this, I went in and I changed the MAC address for 72. Because if you have two devices with the same MAC address on the same network, it isn't going to work. The way you change it is, if we look over here, there's a little button there, and when you hit that, it will generate a new random MAC address for you. But as I said, I've already done all that, and I've actually got the machines up and running. So we're going to have a look and see what they consist of. Okay, so let's bring up the machines. This is EN71, this is EN72, and we can do something clever with VirtualBox. If we do this, and we do this, we can have 71 and 72 running side by side, and you'll see that they are exactly the same. There's no difference. They're both Windows 7 machines, but on 71 there is a text file called swapabout. Now I'm going to write something in this text file, and in fact I'm going to alter the size so it fits in the screen size we've got. There we are, and I'm going to write something in this text file, and I'm going to call it Hello 72, and then I'm going to save it. Close it down, bring it back up again, and Hello 72 is written in there. Yeah. Okay. So, back to where we can see both. Close that. Now then, I'm going to search on the network and see if I can see machine 72. So computer, and network, and there it is, EN72. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to go in there. Now I want to watch this little bit of the desktop here on EN72, because I'm going to physically drag this file in there, and there it is. It appears magically on the desktop, and let's see if it says what we expect it to. Hello 72, it does. So back to you 71. So we can see what I've written there. Back to U71. Okay, and save that again. Let's make sure we've saved it. Yep, there it is. Okay, now let's see if we can see 71 on here. Network 71, users, desktop. Okay, now let's see if splendid. Let's see how we've done that, shall we? So, we're going to need to go to the Network and Sharing Center. On both machines. Right then, on the Network and Sharing Center you will find Change Adapter Settings, and then the Local Area Connection, and then the Properties, and then we look at the Internet Protocol version 4 properties, and we do the same on the other one. So, let's see what we've got here. We were told to set up two virtual machines, which we've done, EN71 and EN72, and assign a Class B static IP address to each using the default subnet mask. Okay. When you first get them, they'll try to obtain an IP address automatically, so you stop them doing that, and you tell them to use the following IP address. Now for EN71, I gave it an IP address of 10.30.25.10. I gave it a subnet mask of 255.255.0.0. That fulfills a requirement for Class B. Class B uses the first two octets of the IP address, in this case 10 and 30, as the network identifier, and the last two octets, in this case 25 and 10, as the device identifier. So EN71 is on the network 1030 and his device 2510. There's also a default gateway which is 10.30.25.1. If I go to EN72, you'll see pretty much the same thing, except instead of 10.30.25.10, the IP address for 72 is 10.30.25.20. The subnet mask is exactly the same because these two octets are identifying the network, 1030, and these two octets are identifying the device, 2520. And of course the default gateway is always the same because it's the same network. Let's come back a bit. Now then, as part of the challenge, it says use a software tool to check that the connection is successful. We've already used a text file and we swapped it about. However, we can use a command prompt to make sure. So what we're going to do is we're going to come out of the network center on both machines, and we're going to run command prompt on both machines. There it is. let's just make it so that it fits in the window size. And we'll open the command prompt on this machine as well. There it is. Make it so it fits in the window size. A little bit bigger so you can see what we're doing. Okay. I'm going to ping. I'm going to zoom in a bit so we can actually see this. .30.25, and because I'm using 72, it's going to be .10. Now that's excellent. That really is excellent, because that means that it's picked up on Ian 71 and found it, and it's sent 4 packets, received 4 packets. Great stuff. We know that connection is successful. Let's do it the other way around and ping oops, it would help if I put the keyboard onto there, and ping 10.30.25.20. It would also help if I put a space in there. 10.30.25.20. Excellent. So we now know that 10.30.25.10, which is the IP address for Ian 71, can see 10.30.25.20, which is the IP address for Ian 72, and of course the other way around. And basically that's the entire lot. So we've set up the 2 virtual machines. We've assigned a Class B static IP address to each. We've used the default subnet mask, and we've used 2 software tools, in fact, to check that the connection is successful. Job done, and we can go and have a cup of tea.